What happens when a man who can time travel realizes the real secret to happiness isn't fixing the past, but learning to live every day like it truly matters? The movie follows Tim Lake, a young guy growing up in a quiet seaside town in Cornwall. He lives in a cozy house by the water with his quirky family, his always busy mom Mary, his calm and thoughtful dad James, who loves playing table tennis with him, his sweet but forgetful Uncle Desmond, and his fun, free-spirited sister Kit Kat. The family has some unusual but wholesome habits, like going to the beach every day for tea or watching movies outside in the yard every Friday, no matter what the weather's like. They also throw a New Year's Eve party every single year with the same warmth and chaos. During this year's party, Tim decides he wants to start the year differently by finding a girl to talk to. He wanders awkwardly through the crowd, but keeps getting dragged around by his friend Jay, at one point even knocking over a table. Kit Kat, on the other hand, is having a great time flirting with a guy named Jimmy. As the countdown approaches, Tim dances with a girl named Polly. She leans in for a kiss, but in the most awkward move possible, he shakes her hand instead. The next morning, Tim wakes up with a heavy hangover and a fair amount of embarrassment. His dad calls him into his room and reveals a strange family secret. Every man in their family can travel back in time, not to any time in history, just to moments they've personally lived before. Tim doesn't believe him at all, but James explains the rules and tells him how to do it. Simply go into a dark place, like a cupboard, and think about the exact time and place he wants to return to. Still convinced it's a joke, Tim steps into the closet and thinks of last night's party. To his shock, when he steps out, he's suddenly wearing yesterday's clothes, and the party is happening again. This time, he avoids knocking over the table, and during the countdown, he confidently kisses Polly instead of shaking her hand. Realizing his dad wasn't joking, Tim returns to the present. James warns him not to use time travel for money or fame, saying it will lead to losing more important things, like love. Tim decides he'll use his ability only to improve his love life and hopefully get a girlfriend. That summer, Kit Kat brings her friend Charlotte to stay with the family for 2 months. Tim secretly has a crush on her. One day while sunbathing, Charlotte asks him to put sunscreen on her back. Tim gets nervous and accidentally spills the entire bottle on her. Embarrassed, he uses time travel to redo the moment more smoothly. Throughout the summer, Tim tries his best to impress Charlotte, but nothing works. On her last night, he finally confesses his feelings, only to be gently rejected. She even tells him he should have told her earlier. So Tim travels back and tries confessing earlier, but she tells him he should wait until the end of summer. No matter what he tries, it's clear Charlotte just isn't interested. Tim realizes something important. Time travel can't make someone like you if they don't already. After the summer, Tim moves to London to start his career as a lawyer. He moves in with Harry, an eccentric playwright who seems angry at the world. Tim planned to find a girlfriend in London, but his first 6 months go by without any luck. The only new friend he makes is a kind but awkward coworker named Rory. Everything changes when Jay takes him to a restaurant called Dans le Noir, where guests eat in total darkness. In the dark, Tim and Jay meet 2 girls, Mary and Joanna. Tim and Mary talk the whole time, and they instantly click. After the meal, they all step outside into the light, and Tim finally sees Mary's face, and she looks exactly like his type. She gives him her number, and they agree to meet again. Tim happily heads home, only to find Harry upset because his new play was ruined when one of the actors forgot his lines. Wanting to help, Tim travels back in time and assists Harry before opening night. He helps the actor rehearse, but then another actor forgets his lines instead. Tim goes back again and supports him backstage. The final result is a perfect show. But when Tim tries calling Mary afterward, he realizes that by traveling back and changing the night, the dinner with her never happened, and now she has no idea who he is. Determined to meet her again, Tim finds out from Harry's newspaper that she's a big fan of Kate Moss, so he spends several days sitting on a bench at a Kate Moss exhibition, waiting for Mary to show up. When she finally does, Tim talks to her again, but this time she casually mentions she has a boyfriend named Rupert. Tim panics a little and asks exactly when and where she met Rupert. She tells him it was at Joanna's party, so Tim finds a quiet spot, travels back to before the party, and rushes to Joanna's apartment. He meets Mary just in time and manages to get her to leave with him before Rupert arrives. They go out for dinner, talk for hours, and really connect. When Tim walks her home, she practically invites him to stay the night. From then on, their relationship grows naturally. They get closer, spend more time together, and eventually Tim moves in with Mary so they can start their life together. At some point, Tim finally meets Mary's parents when they unexpectedly show up at her place. The first meeting is a bit awkward, but after a couple of small time travel do-overs, everything goes smoothly. One night, Tim wants to watch a play, but Mary's too tired to join him, so he takes Rory instead. After the show, Tim runs into Charlotte, the girl he used to like, but their conversation is painfully awkward. He tries again by going back in time, but it's still weird. On his third attempt, he gives up and decides not to approach her at all. Ironically, that's when Charlotte notices him and starts the conversation herself. Even though she already has plans with her friend, she invites him to dinner and mentions she regrets turning him down the previous summer. When they reach her apartment, she hints at inviting him inside, but Tim turns her down, realizing he's fully in love with Mary now. He rushes back home and immediately proposes to Mary, and she says yes. The next summer, Tim takes Mary to meet his family. Mary gets along great with Tim's mother, while Tim enjoys hanging out with his dad. Tim is surprised to see Kit Kat there too. She admits life in London hasn't been going well, and she also broke up with Jimmy. During dinner, Tim and Mary announce that they're getting married soon, and the family is even more shocked to hear that Mary is pregnant. When their wedding day finally arrives, things go well overall, even though a few things go wrong, like Mary's dress tearing and a storm ruining the venue. The biggest disaster is the best man's speech. Tim originally chose Rory, who absolutely ruins it, so Tim goes back in time to replace him with Jay. Jay messes up too. Tim tries Harry after that, but no luck. Finally, he asks his father to be the best man, and he gives a perfect speech that fits the moment. A few months later, Mary gives birth to their daughter Posy. They move to a bigger house and settle into family life. Tim finds himself relying less on time travel and simply enjoying each day as it comes. On Posy's first birthday, all their friends come over, but Kit Kat doesn't show up. Eventually, the doorbell rings, and it's Jimmy. He's panicked and tells them Kit Kat crashed her car while driving drunk after a fight with him. Tim immediately goes back in time and picks her up before she has the accident. But when he talks to Mary afterward, he realizes this doesn't actually fix anything. Kit Kat's deeper problems remain. Tim decides to do something drastic. He tells Kit Kat about his ability and takes her back to the New Year's Eve party years ago, the night she first met Jimmy. This time, Kit Kat confronts Jimmy and punches him instead of falling for him. When they return to the present, her life has changed. She's now dating Jay, and their relationship is far healthier. But when Tim gets home, he finds out something shocking. Posy no longer exists. Instead, he now has a son. Tim immediately travels back to the day of his son's birth to talk to his father. His dad explains the rule Tim didn't know. Changing anything that happened before one of his children's births risks creating a different child. If he wants Posy back, he can't change anything before she was conceived. Tim accepts this, returns to the present, and lets the accident happen so the timeline that leads to Posy stays intact. Kit Kat survives, and while she's in the hospital recovering, Mary and Tim help her realize she needs to improve her life on her own. Tim casually suggests she give Jay a chance, and she does. After she gets better, Tim and Mary eventually have another baby, a boy, and their life becomes even more complete. One day, their daughter accidentally destroys Mary's important manuscript. Tim goes to fix it using time travel, but right afterward, they get a call. Tim's father has been diagnosed with terminal cancer. Tim, Mary, and Kit Kat rush to the beach house. Tim learns that he can't fix this either. Going too far back could change the births of Tim and Kit Kat. His father has already known about the cancer and has been using time travel to extend his life quietly, spending as much time as possible with his family. With the time he has left, Tim's father shares his own recipe for happiness. First, live each day normally with all the ups and downs. Then, at the end of the day, go back and relive it again with a calmer mindset, noticing the little joys you didn't catch the first time. Tim tries this for a while and realizes it works. He feels happier and more grateful. But there are some days he doesn't want to relive, like the day his father dies. After his father's death, Tim still travels back occasionally to visit him when he misses him. But one day, Mary tells Tim she wants a third child. This creates a painful dilemma. Having another baby means he will never be able to go back far enough to see his father again. After thinking it through, he realizes nothing matters more than continuing his life with the woman he loves and their growing family. Before the new baby is born, Tim travels back one final time to see his father and tell him this will be their last visit. They go back together to relive a warm memory from Tim's childhood, careful not to change anything. When Tim returns to the present, Mary gives birth to their third child, a baby girl. Tim accepts the loss of his father and finds peace in the life he has. Kit Kat recovers, grows stronger, and eventually has her own child with Jay. In the end, Tim discovers his own version of happiness. He chooses not to time travel anymore and simply lives each day as if he's experiencing it for the second time, appreciating every moment with his family.